All right, everybody, this is Cali Cat Tap Talks, and I have Thomas Lee here from Torr, and he's going to let us know about his journey. And we're going to start off with what originally inspired you to become both a brewer and a distillery, and how did you come about to Torr?
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm happy to be here. Yes, my name's Thomas Lee. I originally studied culinary arts here locally in Reno. I left high school a little bit early to kind of join college a little bit early and kind of go through the stages of culinary arts. Once I was done with school, I found myself a part of a brewery as a baker. And about 2 months into that, they hired me on as the kitchen manager. And I kept just looking in the back of the brewery and meeting the brewers. And I was like, man, that job looks so much more fun than what I'm doing. So I kind of asked the ownership of Great Basin Brewing Company. I said, hey, how can I become a brewer? And it took about a year, doing 50-50 between brewery and kitchen, kitchen and brewery. But at the end of that, I became a brewer, quickly became a head brewer of the company, ended up moving to Virginia. And in Virginia, I opened up a brewery called Bull Island Brewing Company. And from there, traveled back to California, was a brewer up in Tahoe. Now I'm back down in Reno, just about 30 minutes down the hill from Tahoe. And Tintor reached out to me because I had expressed interest in becoming a distiller. And they grabbed me, snagged me, and they said, let's make this happen. And now I've been with the company for a combined probably about a little bit over 5-6 years.
Wow, that's an interesting history. You go to Virginia, then Nevada, then California, 'cause that's
Yeah.
Tahoe, and then back to Nevada. So that's wow.
And born
So
in Florida.
yeah. Oh wow, and culinary. So that's an interesting background, and that's actually pretty cool. That's what this show is about. Talking about people and their journey. So far, I love it. I love it. So Tintor is known for vacuum distillation. I think I've seen that correctly. Can you explain how this method works and what makes it different from traditional distillation?
Yeah, great question. That's one thing that we're really trying to express as a company of what we're exactly doing here. So vacuum distillation is essentially meaning we distill cold. So 10 torr is spelled, the number 10, Torr. Torr is a measurement of pressure, specifically atmospheric pressure. And so what we do, I guess to give you a reference, Reno, Nevada sits around like 675, 700 torr, depending
Mm-hmm.
on weather that kind of comes into the area. But what we do is we take our still and we bring it down anywhere between 10 and 50 torr. So essentially, we're able to, the mindset is we're distilling in space. And we have a lot of astronaut kind of themes around the brewery to kind of help explain that a little bit. So by us distilling in space, we're able to hit a boiling point of about at 75 to 80 degrees versus 200 plus. And that also creates, since we're cold distilling, it's creating a smoother product. It does take longer to distill. It does require a little bit more energy. But when you kind of see a bottle that says 12 times distilled or something along those lines, we essentially can do that in one run. So we're able to get a cleaner, smoother product out there on the market. Vacuum distillation is more common in places like Japan. There's less than a dozen here in the U.S. We're maybe one of three, even on the West Coast. So we're definitely doing something different than versus harsh heat distilling.
Wow. So with the Reno has it's a growing craft scene, and how does Tin Tor fit into the fabric of the local brewing and distilling community?
Well, one thing I have to say about Reno is a lot of us brewers and breweries and distilleries in the area, we look at each other as family. At the end of the day, we're all here to support each other and help each other out. We'll let the sales reps kind of grind it out outside of that. But we're a very tight knit group here in Reno. Everyone gets along very well, and Tintor is a big part of that. We're part of the Nevada Brewers and soon to be Distillers Alliance. Um, we We definitely do kind of sometimes feel like we're a little bit on an island of our own because we are a brewery slash distillery. There's only one other in town,
Mm-hmm.
and they do a great job. And they're called the Depot. They also do a great job here in Reno. Um, but yeah, so we make, we have about 18 beers on tap. We have about 7 different spirits that we sell, and we have a complete cocktail bar. And we just kind of immersed ourselves in the Reno area, and we're just a part of the growing family of craft brewing and distilling.
Wow, wow. So, are you guys active within your community? Because I know you said you're a tight knit community within the brewing. What
Mhm.
about within? I don't know if there's in high school or anything like that, like sports. Are you guys active in that type of community or
Oh
just
yes,
the
definitely.
people?
So the local university is University of Nevada, Reno.
Hmm.
There's 2 locations, one in Vegas, UNLV, and UNR up here in Reno. And we actually make a canned cocktail for the university. It's called Pack Punch for Wolfpack Punch, and it's a vodka-based mojito style kind of canned cocktail. And we're in both basketball, baseball, and football and softball for the university.
Wow, that's a nice. That's considered a collab, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah,
actually
that's
even
a
went
yeah.
as we went as far as even getting with the NCAA and being able to get approval to use the university's logo on the can and everything.
Wow, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's just simply amazing. Um, what is the first beer or spirit you helped create at Tintor that really made you think, man, yeah, this is something special. Oh man.
You know, I think I'm going to go on the beer side of things. I know, we do have this mindset of we are a distillery first, but the first thing that comes to mind is one of the very first beers I brewed here back maybe 5, 6 years ago. Again, it was a white golden stout made with Ghirardelli white chocolate, some local cold brew. It's just kind of like it looks like a blonde ale, but tastes like a stout, so it kind of messes with your mind a little bit. And it just took off. We ended up naming it Fight Milk, kind of a scene from a TV show called Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it just took off. And people like will wait at the door when it comes time for that yearly release right around Halloween.
I was gonna say it's got to be a yearly release, so
Yeah.
that's amazing. So you can only get it there, or can you get it? You guys distribute it out, or you
You
have
can
to
get
be
it.
there to
Yeah,
get
you
it?
can get it in most box stores in the state of Nevada, or liquor stores, or on draft at other bars throughout the city. We are looking at distribution in California here shortly. We don't know. We'll probably start with spirits first in California, and then hopefully slowly move into beer as well. But as of
Okay.
right now, yeah, California. We're eyeing California.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard, but California just got RNDC just left California. I just did a podcast on that.
Yeah, I
But
think I
I'm doing
just I
some research on some different type of distributors. I'm gonna reach out to them. They sound legit, and see if they could step in and try to help out. California here.
yeah,
A lot of
definitely.
people lost their jobs. Kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. So, how do you balance innovation with tradition in your brewing and distilling process?
Um, Honestly, great question. That's something that we're trying to find a balance in still to this
Hmm.
day. We have noticed that those traditional styles of beer are becoming more popular. I think that your traditional styles of spirits are also kind of coming back to the mark. But we offer for all of our brewers and distillers, and even bartenders, barbacks. We have a little 3 barrel pilot system for beer down in the brewery, and we allow anyone in our company if they want to make a beer, if they want to make a beer for their wedding, call it a happily ever after, something like that, something fun. We allow that for anyone inside here to come up with a recipe, and if it ends up selling really well, we'll move it over to the production floor. And we also have like a little pilot still that we kind of mess around with here and there as well.
I think that's pretty cool, and you that technically you're encouraging people to learn how to brew by having them to go in on your little pilot brewery and do that. I think that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that and, it also helps bartenders and staff be able to talk more to the product that's being made as well, and then that just helps everything. It helps the customer understand what we're doing more, and just kind of relays the information.
Yeah. Can you walk us through a day in your shoes? Not from Florida or Virginia or those
Yeah.
other states. A day in your shoes at the 10 tour. What is your typical routine like from grain to glass?
I pretty much tell people I'm available from 4 to 4, 4 in the morning to 4 p.m.
Wow, 12 hours.
Yes, we run 5 days a week down here, and we run pretty much 12 hours in those 5 days a week. We're soon looking to be a 7 day a week facility. But yeah, walking in the building, warming up the hot liquor ton, getting that hot water ready to do a distillery mash or brew, depending what we have going on that day. Most likely, we're doing a distillery mash at least 2 to 4 days a week. And once that's up and running, we can then hop on downstairs, fire up the still, get some vodka or whiskey moving. We're officially starting a whiskey program as a company. Um, and and then the crew kind of starts kind of slowly coming in from there, and then they kind of help me out. They take over. They do an amazing job. Honestly, they're the backbone of this company. The crew that I have down there for sure. They do a lot of hard work, and at that point, I kind of escape away and hop on the computer. Start doing some more like the head brewer kind of stuff, answering emails. The joys of sitting at a desk. I'd
Yeah, you
much
got to get a
rather
little
be,
break, right? A little
yeah, I'd
break.
much rather be in the trenches with those guys because that's where I come from.
But yeah, I know you like to do some emails because so you can sit down and taste your beer and say, "Oh, I think I'll add a little more here."
Yeah, right.
Oh, what's been one of the biggest challenges you faced in production or distribution, especially in a dual role facility like yours?
Probably two things that come to my mind first is, we do a lot. So, meeting the demand for spirits, canned cocktails is our number one, selling product. It pretty much keeps the business afloat as our RTD canned cocktails. And you got beer and spirits. So, a lot. We have a lot going on, so that kind of knuckles us a little bit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Outside of that, we're at our 7, 8 year mark as a brewery distillery, and that's about the time where you start seeing a lot of equipment failure. So we literally our boilers down right now, and so we're just kind of running through some of that equipment, updating some things, and just becoming bigger and better for the future, essentially.
So how do you keep the creative process fresh across both platforms? So your spirits, your beers. How do you keep it fresh? If I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but
Yeah, no,
in my eyes, it's like how do you not mix
not
them together?
being afraid of change. I think that
Mm,
has to be a big part of it. Is this community that we're working in? It's going through a lot of change right now, and
mm-hmm.
you have to adapt with it. And if you don't adapt with it, you fall behind. And so you have to be accepting of change. And a big thing that we're doing is our RTD canned cocktails. We try to come up with anywhere for about 8 different styles and try to release a new style every single year. We have a pilot board of just all the pilot brews that we do in the 3 barrel system, and just trying new things, see what works, see what doesn't work, and not being afraid of putting yourself out there and be like, hey, look, I tried.
Yeah, that's true. So, but looking at the broader industry, what trends excite or concerns you in the world of craft beer and spirits?
Excites me that we're not in the IPA forward industry anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love a good IPA.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think that I really like the trend of seeing these like pilsners, Czech pilsners, just the lagers in general becoming more prevalent and popular. IPLs, aka cold IPAs. Just seeing these different traditional beers come back into light is refreshing. Because that's the kind of beer that I like to drink. Just an easy drinking beer. Um, concerning, is I would probably say being hit with some like tariffs, seeing some aluminum cost rise, even cardboard here recently has started going up. Luckily, I was able to contract everything before a lot of this stuff happened.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this October I will probably first see the big hit on us around that time. But yeah, just trying to adjust with change essentially.
Yeah, but while you adjust through the changes, right? The community. I really believe in community. You support the community will support you. I believe you'll be
100%.
okay. You guys got a really good product going on. So, and then back to um, the IPAs of the West Coast. Isn't it easier to make like a hazy IPA over a Kolsch or a Czech or a lager? Isn't the process a little longer?
Yeah, for a lager, definitely. Kolsch, you can treat it as an ale or lager, so that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of nice. You can kind of go either direction with it. But yeah, lager traditionally does take more time, but science is evolving. You are able to speed it up. You're able to throw some enzymes inside there to make sure you don't get diacetyl or any off flavoring. So there is things to speed up the process now. But yes, IPAs or just ales in general is the quicker way to go when it's press releases.
Okay. Have you guys done sours there at all?
Yes, actually. I come from an award-winning sour brewery up in Truckee, California. That was called Tahoe Mountain Brewing Company. They're sadly no longer there anymore. But we did traditional barreled aged and wine barrel sours. We
Mm-hmm.
have one on draft right now. We really only like to keep one on draft because we only like to taint one draft line. But we do have some other sour. We got a Berliner Weiss and a raspberry Berliner Weiss sitting in barrels downstairs right now.
Wow, that sounds delicious. Okay. If someone could only try one beer, right? One beer from Tintor to understand your team's philosophy, which two would you recommend and why?
Oh man, that is a good question. So I'm gonna go ahead and say our Dayman Hefeweizen. It's on probably 9 months out of the year,
Oh,
roughly.
okay.
But it's just again a way of separating ourselves from like the general crowd of we have ESPs on. We try to do every style in the world. We don't shy away from doing different styles. We want the customers to be able to come in and try something maybe they've never had before, or take them back to a memory of traveling by having something that they like an ESB or a Vienna lager or a wild ale. But yeah, I would say our Dayman Hefeweizen. It just kind of sets us a little bit apart.
Wow, you guys got like over 100 beers. I'm pretty sure you brewed over 100 beers coming from different areas, and
Yeah,
now settling in with
yeah.
Tintor.
Written a lot of
So,
recipes.
have you ever lost a recipe and then you're like, "Oh my god, this beer was great, and now I got to go back"?
That's so funny you asked that. I literally was talking about that yesterday. There's a brewery in Reno called Lead Dog, and they do, and also a great job with beer. And I used to be their head brewer at one point in time. And there was one beer I really wish I could remember how I written that recipe and what I did different. Because man, that one came out good. It was like a red imperial IPA, and it was
Oof.
phenomenal.
Yeah, a lot of people don't make the reds anymore. I think they should.
Yeah, like a
They're
good
nice
alt,
little.
good
Yeah,
alt beer.
yeah, good old beer. Yeah. Is Ten Tour involved in any sustainable efforts or local collaboration, which you've already talked about, that you are especially proud of? And how can your fans support this initiative?
Yeah, so that's very light, very light. We definitely try our best, in our community, being a part of Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful by showing up to their events, supporting them, donating money for hiking trails around Tahoe or the Sierras. We also, try to recover as much water as possible when we are brewing and distilling. We do have a wastewater catch system in our brewery, which is the only brewery I've ever worked at that has this. So we can collect everything, make sure that the pH is correct before we send it into the sewer drains of Reno. Just making sure that we're doing our part. We're tracking the air pollution that comes out of our brewery as well. We want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we're just doing our part in general with our community. And outside of sustainability, we also are very much involved with Northern Nevada Children Cancer Foundation. They're we support them as our number one organization here in the Reno area.
Wow, I'm glad you guys support the cancer. Somebody in every family has it. You know, and
Yeah, it's so sad.
it's an
It's
unfortunate.
constantly growing.
Yeah, it is constantly growing. It's sad, and I'm glad you guys are just significantly a part of a lot of things and a lot of factors. What is your address and what is your website so people can, if they're in the area, they can go check it out.
Yeah, so tintor.com. Our address is 490 Mill Street in Reno, Nevada, 89502. And we officially are releasing an online store as of this week. So if you're looking to purchase our bottles, I believe we can now ship to door in 47 states. I don't know what the 3 states are that we're lacking. But yeah, we're excited that anyone in the U.S. can pretty much buy our stuff online now, and we're very excited about that.
Okay. Do you know the website? I know it's fairly new.
Yeah, so there is a link to ordering that website on tintor.com. So you
Okay.
just go to purchasing our spirits, and it should directly link you over to
All right. All right. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to Beer Jimmy.
it.
Very thankful. I travel a lot, and so I'll drop up in different places, and I noticed that he lived in that area, and I said, "Hey." And
Yeah,
so I
he's a
met
good
up
guy.
with him in Reno and dropped him off some specialty beers that he can't get in California. So which is pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool guy. So for you, if you was to brew a special beer and leave a legacy, what would you call it, and what would that beer be?
Whew, to leave a legacy. Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you if you ask anyone in Reno right now, it'd be that Fight Milk Golden Stout. I have a hard time drinking those heavier beers though these days. Let's circle back to that alt beer. One because I really love the story behind alt beers and how all these drunken Germans got together and just said like we're going to make the world's best beer, a little malty, a little hoppy. Let's do a hybrid yeast that could be an ale or a lager, and just like let's make the world's best beer. So I'll end on the high note. Let's brew the world's best beer.
All right, this is Cali Cat Tap Talks, and we were here with Thomas Lee. I would like to take the time to tell you thank you.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a great interview. You've had phenomenal questions, and I think just in this process, you already created a fan. So we'll definitely be listening to you down in the brewery these days.
All right, and you will definitely be on YouTube.
All right, sounds good. I've
All
always
right,
wanted to be on YouTube.
you're going to be on YouTube. All right, cheers, Thomas.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.